Okay, so we'll start really soon as everybody's joined. Hope you guys are having a good Sunday, unlike me, doing something that is completely out of my syllabus still. Okay, so if you are able to listen to me and the voice is clear, please use the chat box of. Hello, Rushan. How are you? Please use the chat box of YouTube to make sure that I am audible clearly and you're able to listen to every word I say. Okay, Rushan is there, and Rushan is saying that everything is clear. Thank you so much, Rushan. Okay, okay, there's only 1 minute left, and 8 people have joined. That's an amazing number, I guess. We'll be starting. Okay, okay, so let's not wait further because it's going to be a really long session as I can feel it. And I have prepared a lot of things for you guys, and I think you guys will enjoy it, every bit of it. So let's get into it. So PharmD carriers. So there are 10 kind of PharmD carriers that I have shortlisted for you guys to be able to understand where your roles are in the future and what else you can do apart from clinical pharmacy, pharmacovigilance, etc. So let's start with first the most hated and most regretted hospital and clinical practice. So first of all, clinical pharmacy is there as everybody hates it, and I do too. Not because it is not a good practice, but only because that it pays really low and it has very low respect in the community. So here are the few roles that are there in the clinical pharmacist: clinical ward clinical pharmacist, ICU clinical pharmacist, emergency medicine CP, oncology CP, pediatric CP, nephrology CP, and cardiology CP. Okay, so what you actually do and what is the fresher salary in India? As we have seen that in many states and many cities also it is just 2.5 to 5 lpa, 5 lpa being if you are entering into an specialty like oncology or something, and 2.5 just being you're being a normal clinical pharmacist. Okay, so what you actually do is, as we have done in our internship of clinical pharmacy, it is actually doing ward rounds, medication review, dose adjustments, drug interaction check, patient counseling, ADR monitoring, and discussing therapy with doctors. Okay, so let's see the pros and cons. The pros are it has direct patient contact, and when you contact directly to patient, you feel every bit of clinical aspect. And then there is strong clinical learning because you learn from every part of the therapeutic area, and it builds therapeutic expertise also because you'll be getting exposure to a lot of multidisciplinary teams also, and you'll be getting exposure to big expertise with consultants and residents. You'll be able to learn from every one of them. The cons are, as we know, it has very low salary growth, it has limited opportunities, many cities, because in most of the cities, NABH hospitals are not there, and only NABH hospitals require a clinical pharmacist. So they'll be only hiring clinical pharmacists. So next is recognition varies by hospital. If the hospital has established NABH culture, then they'll have a recognition of PharmD. Otherwise, they will put anyone from the pharmacy in like B Pharm or M Pharm into the clinical pharmacy field, which hurts a lot personally. So who's it for? The people who enjoy or loves patient care and enjoy ward rounds, wants clinical exposure only, and are comfortable communicating with doctor. And you should avoid, if you have high salary expectations and you do not like hospital environment at all. Okay, so that's clinical pharmacy for us. So next is drug information services. As we know, drug information services are a lot less uh, cultured in India, and here we have few positions. All of these positions are almost same, yet they have different kind of names. Drug information pharmacist, clinical literature reviewer, drug information center pharmacist, that is DIC pharmacist. So let's see what are the fresher salary. The fresher salary starts from 3 to 5.5 LPA, 3 being in the lowest and 5.5 being in the metro cities and big hospitals. The core responsibilities include respond to drug information queries, literature searching, evidence appraisal, clinical guideline review, formulary support, and what are the questions that a DIC gets asked, because mostly the job of a DIC is to answer the questions that are being generated by hospital residents, nurses, or anyone from the hospital, or even academics also. Is this drug safe in pregnancy? Can these drugs be combined, and dose adjustment in renal impairment, and alternative therapy options? These kind of questions are asked from a DIC. Then there is daily activities. What are daily activities that you will be doing? You will be doing a PubMed researches, because to answer every question you'll have to give the references to that answer, because why you have come up to that answer, and where, what is the evidence of that answer. That is evidence based answering kind of. And there is literature evaluation is there, preparing evidence summaries is there, and supporting physicians, because you will be supporting the decisions of the physicians and how the drugs is given to the patient. Let's see the pros and cons. The pros are, it is evidence based works. You will not be answering from your own knowledge or anything. You'll have to give evidence for every answer you give. And excellent literature skills, because it requires excellent literature skills also. You'll have to be able to read a full article and take a gist out of it and make an answer for that. Then there is strong preparation for medical affairs. Yes, in medical affairs also these kind of skills are very valuable, and these kind of, if you have experience in DIC, that counts as a experience in medical affairs, and you will be given priority in the interviews. The cons are, there is less patient interaction here written, but there is almost no patient interaction, because no patients comes to DIC to ask questions. And can become a desk based job, and it can become a desk based job. And who's it for? Who loves reading journals and enjoys literature reviews, strong analytical thinking. And you should avoid if you want continuous patient interaction. If you are the interactive person or the extrovert person who want to meet with everyone and know the story of every patient and see their process of healing, you should be able to do that. So now we move, before we move on to the next, I want to know that how many people are there, and if you are able to listen to me properly, please type yes in the chat box if you are able to listen to me properly, and if I'm making any sense. Okay, Nayan Munga Patil. Okay, so I am audible and it is okay. Okay, thank you so much. Let's move further. The next is medication safety. It is also in hospital, and it is also a part of hospital or clinical practice kind of. So the roles that you'll be seeing on LinkedIn and everywhere is medication safety pharmacist, medication error monitoring, or pharmacotherapy reviewer or review. So these kind of these are the job roles that are there for medication safety. And then let's see what are the fresher salary. These kind of this the fresher salary are taken from ambition box and internet. This is not based on any hospital, and it is not given on LinkedIn anywhere, because they do not provide the salary structure beforehand. See, so the core responsibilities are medication error reporting, root cause analysis, that is RCA, risk assessment, LASA drug monitoring, high alert medication programs. These kind of things are there. And let me tell you very frankly that these things are only there in a big hospital which is very reputed, and it is in a metro city. Otherwise it is not there, because these all the activities are done by a single clinical pharmacist. And that's why there a lot of burden is put into clinical pharmacist, and the salary feels very low depending on that. If you'll see what if you have we have already done medication error reporting in our internship also, root cause analysis, risk assessment, last drug monitoring. These all things we have already done in our internship, and we know that in India clinical pharmacists are not well established as they are in US. But in many cities and hospitals like Fortis Escorts in Delhi and Apollo Hospital in Delhi and many other hospitals in Delhi and Mumbai or special or Pune also, these kind of job roles are there, because they do not want to burden clinical pharmacists with wearing multiple hats. So what are the key activities? Let's see. It is investigating medication errors, developing prevention strategies, staff education, and safety audits. This is new. Staff education is new, but in also hospitals, also clinical pharmacists have done staff education to conduct the sessions for nurses and everyone. So let's see what are the pros. It is a system level impact. It might be a very entry level role, but it has a system level impact because it can do RCA. Strong patient safety role, increasing importance. These roles are increasing day by day. Extensive documentation is there, and incident investigations can be stressful, because people will tell you lie if you do an RCA that I have not done it, and there will be a blame game for everyone, and it will be very difficult for you to find out who has actually done the thing. Who is it for? So detailed oriented professionals, risk management mindset, process improvement enthusiast who wants to improve the process of the whole hospital. So that will be medication safety. Next is quality and accreditation. So let me tell you, that is there are three opportunities that are there for PharmD, and they are hired very actively in this field. And but the thing is that it requires a MBA or master in public health to be done before you apply for these jobs, because they do not directly make you eligible for it. The roles are NABH coordinator, quality executive, and quality officer. These three roles are there. And after you enter as an quality executive or quality officer in any hospital and you have completed your degree, you might be able to get into the fine managerial role after doing your MBA around 3 to 4 years. Okay, so let's see what is the salary structure. The salary structure is higher than clinical pharmacist, and I think this should be the choice who for people who want to stay in hospital but don't want to work as a clinical pharmacist. And these kind of roles are always there any kind of hospital, be it NABH or not. So 3 to 6 LPA is there, and responsibilities includes NABH compliance, SOP development, audit preparation, quality indicators monitoring, and kappa improvement. Okay, daily activities include internal audits, documentation review, and process improvement. Now let's see what are the pros and cons of this. The pros are it has a stable career and it is a growing opportunity for PharmD. And I think you should, if you want to stay in hospital and don't want to work as a clinical pharmacist, you should consider this also. It has stable career and the growth is also good. Leadership opportunities are also there, like I told you, manager roles can be provided to you, and strong management exposure is there. Less clinical practice, you'll have less clinical practice, and it is a documentation heavy work. So who is it for? Process oriented professionals interested in hospital administration. Like I told you, you'll have to do an MBA in hospital administration or hospital management or both. So we have done till quality and accreditation. Now it is antimicrobial stewardship. It is a very niche job opportunity that is rising in India nowadays. And I think it is very important for you to know that this this is also a thing, because it is hired mostly for from PharmD and microbiology students. It is AMS pharmacist, antibiotic utilization review, antibiotic stewardship team member. These three job roles you would be able to find on LinkedIn also. So what is the fresher salary? It is 3.5 to 6.5 LPA, because you will be closely working with the microbiology team and the AMS team. And if you want to further lead the role, you will be able to lead the role after 2 3 years. The core responsibilities include review antibiotic prescriptions, monitor antibiotic utilization, assess culture reports, recommend de-escalation, monitor resistant patterns. Okay, so these kind of roles will be there. Daily activities will be antibiotic audits, reviewing microbiology reports, discussing therapy with physicians, developing stewardship reports. These kind of daily activities you will have to be doing. So let's see the pros and cons of this. It is highly respected clinical role, and strong physician interaction is also there, and it is growing in demand. As I said earlier, that this role is growing in demand very much. They might not be putting these roles out, and but they are hiring internally also. So what are the cons? Let's see. It requires strong infectious disease knowledge. You'll have to be very clear with the infectious disease part, and there are recommendations may be challenged, because your recommendations are from a PharmD perspective, and physicians might not be agreeing with your suggestions or recommendations. They'll just move on and do what they actually do. So who is it for? Who loves infectious diseases, enjoys evidence based decisions, strong communication skills, because people who have strong communication skills will be able to recommend in a way that a physician will also agree to them. So we have finished the hospital and clinical practice. Before we move further, let me check how many people are there. Only two people are there. It is amazing. Three are there. It is also amazing. Okay, so it fell. Okay, so let's move further. uh, let's move further. Okay, so as we move further to medical affairs, let's see what are the options for medical affairs. For entry level role, we have medical affairs executive, medical affairs associate, scientific affairs associate, medical affairs and scientific affairs associate. See, let's see what are the roles and responsibilities of it. The fresher salary for medical affairs executive, associate, or scientific affairs associate start from 4 to 8 LPA. It is very high, and it has a lot of work also. Core responsibilities will include literature searching and review, evidence synthesis, scientific content development, medical review support, and medication query handling. These kind of things are there. Okay, thank you, Nan. So medication review support, medical query handling is there, competitor literature monitoring is there, and supporting KOL activities, internal scientific training support is also a part of the responsibility. So what a typical day of a medical affairs associate looks like: reviewing publication, preparing scientific slide decks and responding to medical queries, supporting product related scientific discussions, preparing literature summaries. These are the typical day to day tasks. Let's see pros of the mm, role: strong scientific foundation, broad therapeutic exposure. You'll be able to work with almost every oncology, diabetology, and many more therapeutic exposure you'll get. And gateway to all medical affairs functions, because this is the entry point and for medical affairs and people who want to get into medical affairs, this is the gateway to get into medical affairs for more like MSL, medical advisor, medical manager, etc. So good career progression. It has high salary and the salary growth is also good. So let's see the cons of it. Extensive reading, you'll have to be reading a lot from literature also and from the pharma companies also. The continuous learning is also required. Don't have to be stuck on where you are, and you'll have to be keep growing your mind. Significant documentation, you'll have to be maintaining every documentation because it is very crucial. Steep initial learning curve, you'll have as a pharmd, you don't have much we don't have much knowledge about every therapeutic area, and we are not much clear about the role also. So there is a steep learning curve when we are learning through medical affairs. Okay, so let's see who is it for curious learners, people who are curious in learning many things and does not want to get stuck in a very therapeutic or particular therapeutic area. Science focused individuals, people who are science focused and have strong analytical abilities also. Those interested in pharmaceutical industry careers, people who are interested in pharmaceutical industry should be opting for medical affairs executive. So we have seen the entry level role. Now let's see mid level progression after you have done your entry level. So it is medical advisor and senior medical advisor. For both of these roles, you need to have experience as the medical science liaison. Okay. Let's see, the salary is very high and it is very competitive also in terms of applications. The salary is 12 to 35 plus LP, and responsibilities include medical strategy development, scientific leadership, KOL engagement, medical plan execution, cross functional collaboration. You'll be collaborating with marketing, medico marketing, and the clinical trial team also. Evidence generation oversight, you'll be oversighting the evidence generated by MSLs or medical affairs executives. Okay, the typical day of a medical advisor would look like: strategic planning meetings, KOL interactions, you'll be meeting KOLs or the doctors, medical review discussions, conference planning, scientific decision making. Okay, so let's see the pros and cons of it. The pros are strategic influence is there of a medical advisor. There is a lot of influence of a medical advisor in the medical field and in the pharma industry. Strong compensation, the salary is really good, and leadership opportunities are also there. You'll be becoming manager and then be becoming manager for the whole medical affairs team. And leadership opportunities we have done, and high organizational visibility, you'll be really visible to the whole organization as we move further. So cons are: it is high accountability. Anything goes wrong for any kind of drug that you have oversighted, you will be held accountable for it. Okay. Multiple stakeholder management is there. There are a lot of stakeholder that you'll have to manage, and significant responsibility. You will have responsibilities of at least 50 people under you. So who is it for? For future leaders, strategic thinkers, strong communicators, individuals with business understanding, people who understand business along with medicine. So let's move to another path, that is medical information associate or medical information specialist. These two are same thing. The associate and specialist are sometimes interchanged between the companies. Okay, so now let's see. The highest salary that it can go is 8 lpa and lowest is 4 lpa. Many companies hire this, and it is a almost desk job, and it has high uh, demand in PharmD also. So core responsibilities will include scientific presentation development. You'll have to be developing scientific presentation, not posters, but presentations. Okay. Medical training materials we have. Okay. Mayank is asking, will we get the PDF of this? Yes, brother, you will get the PDF of this. No, not PPT. I guess I'll be able to provide you with PDF of this. It has a lot of things we have to cover also. Okay, so you'll have to be able to deliver medical training materials, educational content creation, congress and conference materials, the people who are doing conferences, and the materials that are developed by our medical information specialist. So what a typical day of a medical information specialist looks like is creating slide decks for training, conference, or any other part of the event, developing scientific content, which is slide decks or posters or flyers or anything like that, reviewing clinical evidence if the thing that they are developing is good or not, and it has any kind of evidence in the clinical field or not. They cannot make anything that chat gpt gives. There has to be an evidence for it. Supporting product related communication, any product related communication. Let's see, let's take an example. If you take a medicine, you flip it, and there is a email, that is the email is related and directed to medical information specialist. You write any kind of query regarding the medicine, you'll get the answer from a medical information specialist. Okay, let's see pros and cons. The pros are, it is a creative scientific role. You'll have to be creative, and you'll get to express your creative side also. And it has high organizational visibility. People will be connecting you, people will be reaching out to you, and you'll be able to connect to everyone in the company almost. And it requires excellent communication, and it will develop also your communication skills as you move along. So what are the cons? Whenever you make any kind of ppt, people would want you to change few things, like I don't want this line to be there, I don't want that line to be there, I want this to be bold, I want that not to be bold, add this image, remove this image. So there are few frequent revisions are there. Tight deadlines are there. You'll have to deliver between 7 days, or you'll have to deliver from that day or till that day. And they expect a really high accuracy. There is very low margin of error, because it is a medical communication thing, not any kind of content creation. So who is it good for? People who are good presenters, who can make a really amazing ppts, and people who are creative, and individuals who enjoy simplifying complex science, because you will be simplifying something that is written in a manuscript and convert it into a ppt or any kind of small flyer. Okay, so scientific communication associate or medical content developer, this is similar to the medical information, but it has some kind of differences. See, if you see the salary structure is also same, the core responsibilities are also same, and you'll be supporting and doing the same kind of things that you do in the medical content. But in this, you will be specifically uh, expected to make the scientific part of it, not the medical part of it, because these kind of roles are hired in nutraceutical companies and medical devices companies, not pharma companies. Okay, so everything else is same for this. And there is medical content specialist. See, now this medical content is kind of different from information or PPT maker. So the salary is also same. It is 4 to 8. It is also really good salary for a fresher. You'll have to do medical writing in this. This is the part where they will be expecting you that you have good medical writing skills and disease awareness content creation. See, let me give you a amazing example of Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly, when they started their GLP-1 marketing, they spread a they have spread a disease awareness program for obesity. You must have seen, I am sure you must have seen that video of from Eli Lilly, that obesity is not a disease. Obesity is a disease, and it is not any kind of uh, mental flaw. So that kind of content creation is there with medical content specialist. Scientific article development, you should be able to make manuscripts and everything. Educational resource development, that is brochures or monographs of any drug. Content review and referencing, as we make in manuscripts alone. So typical day looks like medical writing medical content, reviewing references, developing educational materials, ensuring scientific accuracy. Okay, let's see the pros and cons of it. Pros are strong writing skills development will be there for you, and remote work opportunities are there. This is a kind of work that can be done remotely. And then there are cons. Some cons are there. Screen intensive role, you'll have to be you'll have to be sitting in front of screen for hours and hours to make manuscripts or write detailed scientific literature. So cons are heavy revision cycle. As I said before, in content development regions and content development roles, there will be high revision cycles, because people would expect you to change many things in your PPT or anything. Okay, so limited external interaction is also there. You'll have to be sitting in front of desk and doing everything on your own. Who is it for? Writers who love writing, and researchers, individuals who enjoy independent work. They are individuals who do not want to be bothered again and again by their managers. So now everyone's favorite, medical science liaison or medical scientific liaison. Also, we have, after few years you will be senior MSL. So let's see the fresher salary for MSL. It is uh, 8 to 18 LPA, and if you are directly getting a fresher job, uh, Mayank has a question. Let's just wait for me to complete this, then we'll take up the questions. Medical affairs. Okay, so 8 to 18 LPA is there, and it can be low also. It can start from 6 LPA also, but it can increase to 8 LPA in 1 to 2 years. Core responsibilities. Core responsibilities is KOL engagement, scientific exchange, medical insight gathering, conference participation, scientific presentations, advisory board support. So these kind of activities will be there, and typical day would look like visiting specialties. You'll be visiting specialty doctors or KOLs throughout your day, and conducting scientific discussions. You'll be discussing about clinical trial, what are the evidence from the clinical trial that you have got for them, and how the drug this drug can affect their patients and improve their clinical outcome. Presenting clinical evidence means the evidence that are already generated through clinical trial. If it is a new drug, or if it is a new drug in if it is an old drug in a new market, then you can present the clinical evidence from the previous market. Okay. Attending conferences, there are many conferences that MSL is required, I repeat, required to attend. Okay, so pros are excellent compensation. The compensation is really good for a fresher. Strong industry visibility, you will be interacting with almost everyone in the industry. High networking opportunities, you'll be having a really high chance of networking, and you'll be interacting with a lot of people daily. And direct physician interaction is also there. Cons is it has frequent travel. People who do not like to travel, or people who have written traveler in their Instagram, should not do this, because traveling for work and MSL is very different, and traveling on your own is different, because you'll have to be sticking to the timeline of the KOL, not your own timeline. You'll be attending what you'll be attending to them whenever they want you to attend, not whenever you want to attend. So there are high expectations, and high expectations that the KOL engagement should be high. And difficult entry pathway. uh, the entry of a PharmD fresher into MSL is difficult, because people have their own contacts and they hire through their own contacts mostly. Who is it for? Extroverts who love to meet people, unlike me. Strong communicators and relationship builders who love to build relationships with almost everyone. And professionals comfortable with travel, people who are comfortable with frequent travel. There is almost 50 to 60% travel daily. It's not like 15 days travel and then we have 15 days rest. It's like 1 day travel, 1 day rest, 1 day travel, 1 day less rest. So even on Sunday some people go. But let's see. So now you can ask your questions about medical affairs if you have. Mayank, please. Mayank, if you are there, please ask your question. Okay. If you don't mind, can we know your current package in hand salary? Heh. Heh. See, in the contract I have signed that I have I should not disclose my salary to anyone. And this is a lie. This is YouTube live, and this is uh, kind of the wrong place to ask this question. I'm really sorry that I am not able to address this question, because it goes against my contract. Okay, I cannot disclose this right now. I am really sorry, Mank. If you do not have any other question, but I can say that it is really good. It is under from what I have told in this, it is in the same branch. It is in the same range. Okay, then there is question by. Okay, I am not able to read your name, but I'll call you 5983. In MSL, traveling expenses taken care by the boss. Yes, traveling allowance is given by the people. People on the industry will give you around 10,000 per month or 12,000 per month, depending on the travel they are expecting from you. Okay, and that will be added to your salary even if you use it or not. Okay, so apart from your salary, if let's say if your salary is 30,000 per month, 10,000 will be provided to you for traveling allowance, and if you use it, then it's good. If you do not use it, that will be transferred to your salary. Sir, what did you do after PharmD? What was your journey, and what skills must develop during sixth year for MSL jobs or medical affairs. See, there are no particular skills. The communication skills should be really good. You should be aware with your, you should be really good with your therapeutics and everything. You should be able to do researches and should be able to combine everything and tell it in a very easy way. For example, let's see the this is the kind of pathway that I have made for you guys, and I think it is helpful in a way. And there are a lot of misconceptions around MSL also, and medical affairs also, that the entry is very hard and everything. The entry is hard, I agree, but entry is hard for people who are not willing to give their 100%. People who are willing to give their 100%, interviewers see that and they are hired immediately. Any other questions, or we move on? Counting to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Again, 5983 is asking something, how to approach slash apply for these job opportunities. Okay. See, I have discovered a method in LinkedIn on how to grab these kind of opportunities. And also whenever I've got that opportunity through that method only. And I think I should reveal that method also, but not right now, because it will take a lot of time for me to explain. And I have prepared a lot of these things, and I should, and for next time, for next time for sure, I'll I'll make a live session. I'll reveal it in a live session or do something for you guys. Don't worry, I'll reveal that. Also, you should also consider Indeed and Naukri.com. They are really good for these kind of jobs, and you should be in the uh, you should apply to their sites, the pharma companies sites, directly. Then why did you decide to do to decided to choose MBA, and how does MBA is helping you currently in your job profile? Currently, it is giving me a very hard time to manage job and study. I've done this. I'm doing this MBA to unlock my future opportunities for manager roles quickly and not waste time doing 5 to 6 years of the same thing. Okay, 5983. Don't worry. I'll give everyone the thing that I have been talking about on how to get actual jobs on LinkedIn. Okay, the hidden jobs, because most people and most hirers don't post things like directly on LinkedIn, because hundreds of people applied immediately. 5 minutes after 5 minutes the job is posted. Okay, so I guess we should move on because we have a lot to cover. Okay, if you have any other questions relating to medical affairs, please ask right now. I'll count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, we move further. So we move further to pharmacovigilance. Uh, you have a lot of questions, brother. How you enrolled in? Okay, so how I have enrolled in it. So it was easy to enroll. You can go online and search how to enroll in it. DLP, DPU. It is, I guess, distance learning from DY Patil. It is good. I have good experience till now. So let me move on to pharmacovigilance also, because there are 10 job opportunities that I have to cover. So uh, let's see. Let's move on to pharmacovigilance. Huh. So pharmacovigilance, for pharmacovigilance, there are also a lot of opportunities in pharmacovigilance directly for PharmD, and I have created. Uh, Okay, I'll take your questions after I finish this pharmacovigilance thing. Okay, I'll definitely take your questions. The case processing. Let's see. There are four functions in a pharma processing: aggregate reporting, signal management, quality, and compliance. Okay, what is it, and what kind of job opportunities does it give? So the job profiles that you'll see for this is drug safety associate, pharmacovigilance associate, safety data specialist. Okay, you must have not heard that safety data specialist, but it is there on LinkedIn and it hires PharmD. Okay, if you do not find it on LinkedIn, you must be able to find it somewhere in Naukri and everything. So we'll go for each and every one. Like, let's start with drug safety associate. It is the top hallmark for pharmacovigilance, for people who want to get into pharmacovigilance. The fresher salary is also good. It's 3 to 6 LPA, and core responsibilities will include adverse event case processing, because it is a part of case processing department. So medical record review, case narrative writing, data entry into safety databases is there, follow up information quest, and case quality checks. These kind of responsibilities are of a drug safety associate. Do not worry, I'll give everything to you and you'll be able to read it on your own also. Typical day looks like reviewing adverse event reports, assessing case completeness, writing case narratives also a very niche job, and coding adverse events and medications, submitting case within timelines. These kind of responsibilities are in typical day to day. Let's see the pros and cons of it. The pros are: most common entry point into PV, high hiring volume is there, structured learning pathway, global career opportunities. The volume for PharmD is also very good for drug safety associate. And let me tell you, if you want to get into medical affairs after drug safety associate, it is respectable and it can directly affect your interview and will benefit you. The cons are repetitive work is there, because you will have to do same thing again and again, and due to this being repetitive work, it is not safe in the age of AI, because repetitive works are being taken over by AI. But many professionals in the industry say that they will not allow AI to take into these jobs, because it requires clinical decision making. Also, it is limited, but they have to make decisions also, and human interaction should be there, human interference should be there in these kind of jobs. So who is it for? Detail oriented individuals, professionals who enjoy structured process, and those interested in drug safety. So hope you have understood that. Now it is the salary structure is higher, 3.5 to 6.5 LPA. Individual case safety report, that is ICSR management, case triage is there, safety data review, case quality control, regulatory compliance support, safety database maintenance. And let's see what a typical, like, you will be processing safety reports, reviewing source documents, performing quality checks for everything, and coordinating with global teams. Let's see what are the pros and cons of it. The pros are strong industry demand. The demand for this industry and is really growing day by day, and good entry level opportunities. Entry level is good in this, and PharmDs are hired on regular basis. Okay, exposure to global safety systems you will get exposure to, and you'll be able to learn also. Documentation heavy role, process driven environment, and can become repetitive. Okay, so who is it for? Organized professionals, detailed focused individuals, and people science. Okay, safety data specialist. So before I move on to this, I want to drink water. Okay. Mm, okay. Have any questions regarding till now for pharmacovigilance? You can ask. Okay. I see the yes, I have seen these questions in your forms also. You guys are really quick curious about what skills you can develop during PharmD. 5983, I do not understand your questions. Do you suggest doing job simulation? Job simulation. I do not know what that word means. Hmm. In mid years of PharmD, in which you are in which year you are in, brother or sister, depends on that. And the question was, is there, sir, is there any internships that we can do in medical affairs before graduation? Before graduation, I don't think that is possible to do internships. Yes, you can do it in your final year and after even after your graduation, but being in final year is, I think, compulsory for you to be there. Oh, okay. To do internship, you can come to Renovare also. Companies like Renovare Healthcare Solution are a lot, and you should be able to find it in Google, and you can apply to them, and they'll hire you as an intern for 3 months, 6 months, 5 months, whatever you like, and then you can have that experience and convert it into job. What skills are must for PharmD? I'll answer that question later, I guess, because that question is only specific to students who are below fifth year or something. Okay, so 5983 is in third year, so I think you should not be worrying much about it. You should be able to. 5983 job simulation is a practical experimental activity that replicates the real world task and challenges of a specific role, but it is self paced. Okay, thank you for enlightening me with your knowledge. Okay, so you can do that if you have any opportunity is remotely even that is remotely uh, mhm, that can remotely help you. Job simulation. Okay, new word learned. I'll add it to my brain dictionary and remember it only for 5 seconds, then forget. Okay, let's move on. I'll answer your questions later because होगा नहीं complete या फिर. Okay, so safety data specialist 4 to 7 LPA. Safety data core responsibilities will include safety database management, data quality review, safety data reconciliation, and data trend identification, report generation. Welcome. Report generation, safety system report. So what a typical day of a safety data specialist looks like: reviewing database records, data cleaning activities, running safety reports, and reconciling data discrepancies. Discrepancies means if the data was originally some supposed to be something else and now it is something else, so you'll have to keep up the updating the discrepancies and improve the quality of the data set. Pros are strong technical skill development. Technical means you will be learning a lot about coding and everything, medical coding, let's say. Exposure to safety technologies. There are many safety technologies like Medra and everything. And growing demand. These jobs you will not find on LinkedIn. I have tried finding it, but I have not been able to find it on LinkedIn. But it is in growing demand because on the IQVIA job career section, I have seen this one. And cons are less clinical exposure, data intensive work, extensive screen time. Because the people who do not want to get into dev jobs should not be looking for these kind of jobs or that have heavy screen time. Okay, analytical thinkers. Who is it for? It is for analytical thinkers, data oriented professionals, individuals comfortable with software systems. Okay, so that was drug safety associate, pharmacovigilance associate, safety data specialist under the case processing. Now we are moving on to aggregate reporting, which is still under pharmacovigilance, but it is a different kind of function. Okay, so aggregate job opportunities you will see is aggregate report writer, safety reporting associate. Okay, okay, so aggregate report writer is the fresher salary is 5 to 8 LPA. The salary is good, and PSUR, PBRER support. These kind of support you'll have to provide to the team, upper management team, and DSUR preparation is also there. Aggregate safety reporting, literature review, safety data analysis, regulatory regulatory submission report, and let's see, a typical day looks like you'll be reviewing safety data, you will be preparing aggregate reports, conducting literature searches, and supporting submission activities. Pros and cons are strong scientific exposure and you have high value skill set. This skill set is very of high value, and career progression is also good. As you can see, the fresher salary is starting from 5 to 8 LPA. Cons are it has intensive writing. You'll be writing intensively on the screen, means using a PC or laptop or their desktop. Strict regulatory deadlines and high accuracy expectation. The margin of error is almost zero, and there will be regulatory deadlines. Who is it for? For scientific writers, literature enthusiasts, individuals interested in regulations. So let's uh, move on to next function of pharmacovigilance, which is signal management. Let's see, signal detection associate is there and risk management associate. So these two are different uh, functions. These two are different job roles, not same as before. Okay, so let's see what are those. So signal detection associate starting salary is 5 to 9 LPA. Signal detection activities, safety trend analysis, risk identification is there, data mining support is there, literature surveillance is there, signal validation is also a part of responsibilities. So these are the core responsibilities. Apart from that, you will also have to help the aggregators, data aggregators. And typical day would look like reviewing safety trends, analyzing safety databases, investigating potential risks, and supporting signal review meetings. Okay, let's see the pros and cons of it. Pros are strong analytical work, high scientific involvement, advanced pharmacovigilance function. And cons are the smaller job market, the roles are hired in very small numbers and require strong analytical skills. Typically, not an immediate entry role. This might require you to be a drug safety associate before then you can move into this function. Who is it for? Critical thinkers, data analysts, and safety science enthusiasts. So, risk management associate. This is also not an entry level role. It might require you to have 1 year or something experience in safety associate as a drug safety associate. The fresher salary is 5 to 9 LPA. Risk management, the core responsibilities include risk management plan, RMP support, risk minimization activities, safety strategy support, benefit to risk assessment. What is the benefit to risk assessment? And regulatory documentation. What a typical day would look like is reviewing safety updating risk management documents, supporting regulatory submissions, collaborating with safety teams. Okay, so let's see the pros and cons of it. The pros are strategic. It is a very strategic role. Uh, it has to do the same kind of work every day, and you'll not be supporting the aggregators, and you'll won't have to be wearing multiple hats. You'll have to be doing the same thing. Strong regulatory exposure is there and good long term growth. As I said, it is not an entry level role, but if you enter it after 1 year of pharmacovigilance associate or DSA, you can enter into this, and the long term growth is very good. Cons are smaller number of openings. The number of openings in are smaller. Most of it are hired by TCS and IQVIA. Novartis also hires them, but in a very small number. Requires broad safety understanding. Who is it for? Strategic thinkers, risk focused professionals, individuals interested in drug safety governance. You'll be working in closely with the government bodies for the regulatory approvals. So, the final and the last pharmacovigilance function is quality, quality and compliance. So, the roles can be like that: PV quality associate or PV compliance specialist. So, these two roles also will require 6 month to 1 month years of experience in DSA or as a DSA to be entering into this. But it has really good growth opportunity. PV quality associate fresher salaries 4 to 8. Core responsibilities would include quality management support, SOP review, compliance monitoring, audit preparation, CAPA tracking, inspection readiness activities. And typical day would look like reviewing SOPs, conducting compliance checks, preparing audit documentations, and monitoring CAPA implementation. Okay, let's see the career pathway. And for this, I guess you do not have to be doing an MBA or have an master of public health for this kind of PV role. You just have to have 1 year of experience in as a DSA or as a PV associate. Okay, so pros are stable career pathway. It has growth and stability is there. Strong compliance expertise, high organizational importance. Will have importance in the whole system because it is a quality role. And cons are less clinical involvement is there. You'll be not involved in any kind of clinical decisions that are made in the PV department. And audit related pressure, you'll have to be running behind everyone to do audits. And documentation heavy role in any kind of quality, you'll have high documentation. You'll have to maintain every kappa, every CQI and everything. A lot of documentation is there. But if you are good with documentation, then this is just easy peasy job. So who is it for? Process oriented professionals, compliance focused individuals who love to stick to the law or the SOPs, that if this is told, you have to do this. And quality management enthusiast, people who would want to get into quality management. So now let's see the PV compliance specialist. The fresher salary is also good, 5 to 9 LPA. Core responsibilities would include regulatory compliance monitoring, submission tracking, inspection support, compliance assessments, and regulatory reporting oversight. Global process adherence is also a kind of thing. So, typical day would look like monitoring, reporting timelines, reviewing compliance metrics, supporting inspections, coordinating with regulatory teams. Okay. So the pros are it has strong global exposure. You'll be working with global peers or colleagues, not just Indian, and it has high organizational impact. Good career stability is there in both quality and compliance. The career is also good, salary growth is also good, and the stability is also there. But it would require extensive documentation and regulatory complexities of you'll have, because you'll be managing every you'll have to be compliant. Your company should be compliant with every kind of compliance, from regulatory compliance or guidelines from different kind of countries. You'll have to manage that we are compliant with Canada, we are compliant with India, we are compliant with US, we are compliant with this. You'll have to manage all that. Okay, so deadline driven work is also there, because whenever somebody wants to release their drug in market, a company wants to release their drug in a new market of Canada, let's see. So there is a deadline driven, because they have already given that they'll be releasing that drug in that particular amount of time. So as you know, getting regulatory compliance into work or getting regulatory approvals is very hard, in especially in countries like Canada and US. So who is it for? Detail oriented professionals and individuals who enjoy governance and compliance. People comfortable working with regulations. You'll be working with different kind of regulations globally. Okay, so that was quality and compliance, and that was pharmacovigilance. Okay, let me drink water, and my chat is not able to, not showing here. I see that also. Why is that a thing? Okay, so if you have any questions, please put it into the chat. I'm not able to see the chat right now. I'll see it as I go. Okay, okay, so now I'm able to see the chat. Okay, so the question from 5983 is, what is PSUR and what is DSUR? So PSUR is public periodic safety update report, which is given by the PV department to the pharma company. And DSUR is also same, it is development safety report. Okay, it is basically that whenever a company does a update, like what is the update on this kind of drug, this particular drug, and how safety it is performing in the market. That is DSUR and PSUR. Second question is study related. From study related, I'm doing PharmD. Okay, so I'm doing PharmD from CT institutions of pharmaceutical science. Good for you, good for you. I don't know what is CT institutions. Can you explain that to me if you have? You can. Hmm. Anybody knows what is CT institutions? Okay. Moving on. So we have completed clinical aspect, medical affairs aspect, pharmacovigilance, and let's now get into. Yes, yes, I have 595983. I am getting into clinical research only. So next is clinical research, and the job functions are, see, when I did the survey on, when we were applying on the registration link, you put what kind of specialty you want to work in and what kind of specialty you are interested in. Clinical research was on top, and second was medical affairs, and third was pharmacovigilance. So I have put it in that way. Here on clinical aspects also. So first, so let's get started. So let me first explain what it is, the actual thing. Okay, so for clinical research, there are four functions. First is site level, sponsor or CRO level, and there is trial management level, clinical documentation level. Okay, so these four functions, in these four functions you'll be working in mostly. So there are multiple opportunities, multiple openings in for clinical research, and I know most might be knowing only CRC and CRA, but there are multiple opportunities that a PharmD can get into clinical research through this. Okay, so I want you guys to pay attention now. So it is clinical research coordinator and clinical trial coordinator for now that we are going to discuss. So clinical research coordinator is, okay, so tomorrow is my remedial mathematics exam. Any advice? I think you are asking for a mathematics question, mathematic advice from me, and I am not really a good person to have give that advice. But I can assure you that there are so many questions that will surely come. You should do your previous year's papers and see. If it is a final exam, then definitely you should do previous year questions and go, because there are high chances that those similar kind of questions will come and you'll be able to solve. And don't leave any questions blank. Do it, and you'll get marks for at least steps if your answer is wrong. And not don't give up on your mathematics. The only reason I chose PCB was because I was not really good at mathematics and did not like mathematics at all. Okay, uh, leaving that behind. Clinical research coordinator, the fresher salary is low. In this, the fresher salary is really low, 2.5 to 5 LPA, and core responsibilities are coordinating clinical trial activities at study sites, screen and recruit study participants. Study participants are patients or healthy individuals. Okay, obtain informed consent support, schedule patient visits, maintain source documents, coordinate with investigators and sponsors. Okay, ensure trial protocol compliance. Typical day would look like as a CRC, screening patient records, coordinating study visits, and maintaining trial documentation, assisting investigators, communicating with sponsors and CRAs. CRAs are clinical research associates. Okay, so let's get into pros and cons. So what are the pros of is this CRCs? It has excellent entry point because PharmDs are hired very actively in this field as a CRC. Okay, what about What about Naplex? Oh, you have different kind of questions here, because we are in uh, clinical research, and let's focus on this. We'll get into that later, because if I take multiple questions that is not related to this, I may get distracted, and I have habit of getting distracted. Okay. So it builds a strong foundation for CRA roles also. You should have a strong understanding of trial conduct, because in interviews, most of the people get asked about this trial structure. What is the structure of a clinical trial? Okay, and you'll have direct patient interactions. So let's see what are the cons of it. Site level operational pressure is there, because you'll enjoy patient interaction, organize those interested in clinical trials, and people who enjoy coordinating activities. Okay, if you are there in your managing some knowledge, then you should consider this role. You will enjoy. Then there is clinical trial coordinator. It has better salary than CRC, but mostly lands the same. It's 3 to 5.5 LPA, and coordinate study operations, manage trial documentation, support regulatory submissions, track study milestones, and coordinate investigators and sponsors. Also maintain trial records. Okay, I have not done mic check in a long time, so I want to make sure if I'm audible clearly to you. If I'm audible clearly to you, write CTC in the chat. Okay, let's move on. So, so typical day would look like reviewing study documentation, coordinating trial activities, and managing communication between stakeholders, tracking study materials. Okay, pros and cons. Let's see. It has broad trial exposure, strong organizational skill development is there. Will be able to develop this skill in this particular role, and good understanding of study management. You'll have to have a good understanding, and you'll develop more good understanding of how study is managed. Cons are administrative workload, deadline driven environment, and less clinical environment. Okay, you'll be there in the operational side of the clinical trial, not in the clinical part of the clinical trial. So who is it for? It is for organized individuals, professionals who enjoy project coordination, and detail oriented people. So these two roles were there for the site level. Now we'll be moving on to sponsor/CRO level. You'll get to know what that means. So now here are clinical trial assistant and clinical research associate and senior CRAs. See, many companies directly do not hire CTA or CRA from PharmDs, and many companies do. It is their preference, because who they want will definitely provide you with training only, and it is just preference for the companies basically. Okay, okay. As I am doing the CTA and everything, I want people to attend this. So I'll be messaging in the group. Okay, let's move on. Hmm. So I have dropped the message in the group because people will still ask me on LinkedIn about this, and I may not be able to answer them because I'm not always using LinkedIn. I'm not every day on LinkedIn. I am every day on LinkedIn, but I'm not able to respond to every each and every questions. So clinical trial assistant and clinical research associate, as I said, they are not directly hiring. Some companies directly do not hire PharmDs, and some company does because of their preference. Okay, so let's now see what are the core responsibilities and salary structure is good, but only if you have uh, experience and you meet the expectations of the uh, tech for the companies. Okay, so the core responsibilities would include support clinical operations team, maintain trial master files, track study documentations, assist with regulatory submissions, coordinate study logistics, and support CRA activities. Okay. Typical day would look like managing trial documents, updating study trackers, supporting clinical teams, coordinating site communications. Okay. So this is CTA. Okay, so pros and cons. Let's see. The pros are common sponsor slash CRO entry role. It is an entry role, but it is depending upon the company if they want to hire directly or not. Okay, Marin, let's just wait for me to complete this, just this part, and I'll answer your questions. Common CRO and entry role, strong exposure to global clinical trials, and good career progression opportunities. Yes, it has really good career opportunities and progressions here. Oh, so if you start from low salary in a CRO, then there are high chances if you are starting from CRC, then you'll be promoted to CRA. Then CRA has really good growth career in the clinical research. Cons are documentation intensive, less patient interaction, and process driven work is there. The process will give you the work. It is that. And who is it for? Individuals seeking CRO or sponsor carriers, detailed oriented professionals, and organized team players, because you will be working with a big team. Okay, so let's see the question from Merin. Sir, masters in clinical research abroad after PharmD, do you think it's a good option in terms of career growth and job opportunities abroad? Yes, I do think that. See, it depends. It depends solely on you that if you want to continue in India. Because I would not say that there are no opportunities in India. There are multiple opportunities. It's just that people and family students are not aware where they are eligible and where should they apply and how should they apply and how should they prepare for these things. So my only goal right now is to teach everything I have in my mind, from starting from this thing, discovering opportunities and then preparing for them one by one. And for abroad, it depends on you. If you want to live abroad, if you want to settle abroad, it is good, but it has mixed reactions from people. Like people have gone there and they have been living there and giving exams and not being able to clear their pharmacist license exam, because even after PharmD you go there, you'll have to give that exam to, I think you'll have to give that exam to even make your PharmD degree eligible there. Okay, so masters in clinical research abroad is a really good opportunity if you are able to grab it and you consider yourself you are uh, credible enough and you have the power to do it. You can do it. It has no problem, because obviously if you go abroad from India, you'll have better work, you'll have better life and better pay. Everything is there. It's just that it requires a lot of hard work, and many people are not able to do it. That's why they do not go, and some people do not go abroad because want to stay with their family, and there are financial issues also, visa issues also. Okay, so in my opinion, it is really good growth opportunity for you if you are able to manage it, if you are able to do it. Just go. If you have people there already in abroad, then you should go. In US there is the opportunities licensure exam, Naplex. Yes, study related. Yes, I know Naplex. I think Naplex is good, but uh, in current situation, I think you should consider some other countries also, like Australia. Australia is a very it has very great opportunities for next video on Naplex. I am okay. Okay, I'll try my best because I have things planned for next video I'll do on medical affairs, then clinical research. I have thought that to diving deep into this. We'll get into it. So let's get into CRA again. We can take questions all day long. Fresher salaries. Okay, go with the. Okay, I have heard about it. FCCPT. I have heard about it, and it is really good. And if you want to work into medical, emergency medicine, also it. Some hospitals give fellowship programs for 6 months, and they hire you there only, and you'll have a really higher package than just as a not as a clinical pharmacist, but better higher package like 4 to 5, I guess. And yes, it is a very really good thing to do. You can do it if you want to stay, if you still want to be in hospital. And okay, so clinical research associate fresher salaries 4 to 8 lpa, and seniors CRA salaries 8 to 15 lpa. So being a senior CRA requires 4 to 5 years, okay, into the same CRA field. The core responsibilities includes monitoring clinical trial sites, verifying source data, ensuring GCP compliance, conduct site visits, review study documentation, trial site personnel, train site personnel, and support audit readiness. Okay, anytime an audit can come, and if you are a lower CRA, then responsibilities are less. But if you are a senior CRA, the whole audit process is upon you, and it is like a hanging sword on your head. And typical day would include conducting monitoring visits, reviewing patient data, and verifying protocol compliance. Okay, preparing monitoring reports and communicating with investigators is a thing that you'll have to do every day, because you'll have to prepare monitoring reports 3 to 4 days or weekly or monthly. Then you'll have to communicate that same thing to investigators. Pros are it has strong salary growth. I've seen CRAs growing salary, and it has high demand globally also. You can sit in India and do work remotely for high for global companies. Excellent career progression and exposure to multiple studies. Okay, the only con I see is it has very frequent travel. It has more travel than an MSL. Okay, it has extensive documentation also, and high workload during active studies. When there are multiple studies, you'll have to go multiple sites in a single day. Like one is in south, one is in north, and you will get stretched. Okay, who is it for? Individuals comfortable with travel, strong communicators, detailed oriented professionals, and those interested in sponsor side careers. Okay, so you'll be answering to investigators and also sponsors. That's why there was investigator slash CRO level. Yeah, sponsor slash CRO level. Okay, It is like MSL but for clinical research. Okay, so I have covered that also. Now let's move to trial management. Trial management is also an function. Okay, by study related. Best of luck for your exam. It was nice interacting with you too, and the information you delivered is great. See you. I'm still there. You can watch this VOD, which will be uploaded on YouTube, and you can. I'll divide the sections of clinical research and those kind of things so that it will be easy for you to catch up. Okay, so now we have trial master. We are in trial management, and now we have these two roles: clinical project associate and clinical operations associate. So this part now goes into the operations part of the clinical research. Okay, the trial management things are there, which is the operational part of the clinical research. You'll have to manage it, projects and everything. So we'll see both of these roles in details. Okay, so clinical project associate, the salary structure is 5 to 8 LPA. Core responsibilities would include supporting clinical project management, tracking study timelines, managing project documentation, coordinating study stakeholders, and assisting with budget tracking, along with supporting operational planning. Okay. So typical day would look like monitoring project timelines and preparing study status reports, coordinating coordinating team meetings. Okay, so these kind of team meetings will be done in the morning and evening also. You'll have to deliver, you'll have to say what you have to do for the day, and then at the end of the day you'll have to say that these things were done and you'll have to report it. Okay, tracking study deliverables. Deliverables are small parts of the study that a whole study is divided into small parts. So what are the deliverables in that? So whole study is delivered into, like, this was done today, this was done today, these number of patients were uh, enrolled in the trial today, and this number of patients had this reaction. The clinical outcome was this doctor came, this doctor went. Those kind of deliverables are there. Okay, let's now say the pros and cons of the meeting. Exposure to project management, cross functional visibility, strong long term potential. Okay, long term growth is always there in clinical research. Even if you start as an CRC, you can end up anywhere. It is very open. Okay, the cons are less clinical involvement. You'll be doing the operational part, because if you are applying for operational, you'll be doing the operational part and you'll not be much involved in the clinical aspect of the clinical research. Okay, multiple stakeholder coordination is there, and deadline driven environment. As I said, there are deliverables that you have to give to the sponsor and investigator. So obviously there are deadlines. Who is it for? Organized professionals. Always operational jobs are for organized professionals only, people who can manage multiple projects at once. Okay, so individuals interested in management pathways, strong communicators, these kind of things. Okay, so that was clinical project associate, and now we see clinical operations associate. The things are almost same, but the job role is kind of different. Okay, so clinical operations associate, fresher salary starts from 5 to 8 LPA, supporting study operations, coordinate site activities, manage study logistics. Okay, support vendor management, track operational metrics, ensure study milestones are met. So by the core responsibilities, you should be able to understand what this part has to do with a clinical trial. You must have seen this vendor logistics and site activities. words in here. So that means that you will not be involved in the trial itself. Okay, the trial itself, and you will not be interacting with uh, investigators, or you'll not be interacting with investigators, CRAs, etc., but you will be interacting with sponsors, and you will be the person who's managing things like patients, where are the patients are coming from, how the doctor is coming, if the whole site is manageable or not, if the activities that are being performed, there are multiple beds in the site, and how the things are operating, you'll have to be seeing, and it should not have any kind of uh, obstruction in it. Okay, coordinating operational activities, reviewing study progress, supporting clinical teams, and managing communication across functions. This is the typical day. Let's see pros and cons of it. It has broad understanding of clinical development, strong operational exposure, and good progression activity opportunities are there. Okay. Okay. So cons are high coordination workload, multiple competing priorities. You'll have like you'll be doing multiple things at once. You'll be managing logistics, managing the site, and everything. So less, no, there is no patient facing work. Okay, you'll just have to coordinate things so that the patients get into it. Okay, who is it for? It is for multitaskers, team oriented professionals, individuals interested in operational leadership. If you want to work in clinical trial, but you don't want to get involved in the trial itself, you can get involved in the clinical trial, but as the operational part. Okay, so we have done now the trial management, how the trial is conducted start to finish. Now there is trial documentation part. Okay, so you must have heard this master file associate, TMF associate. You must have heard, I am sure that in LinkedIn you must have heard these jobs are always there, and clinical documentation is also there. Okay, so we'll see what are those and how does it do. First of all, both of the things are almost same, so there are no perfect differences between them. The responsibilities are also same. So clinical documentation specialist, freshers salary starts from 4 to 7 LPA, and you'll have to manage trial master files, ensure document completeness, maintain inspection readiness. Anytime inspection can come unannounced, you'll have to be ready for that. Okay, track essential study documents, support audits and inspections, ensure regulatory compliance. Okay, you'll have to be ensuring regulatory compliance, and you have to manage this with the quality and compliance department. as we s- as we saw earlier, that you'll have to manage this with the quality and compliance department. And typical day would look like reviewing study documentation, filing trial records, conducting document quality checks, preparing for audits. Let's see the pros and cons of the done of this thing. Pros are strong understanding of clinical trial documentation. You will get to know about the what about the clinical trial documentation, how it is managed and how it is worked. It has stable and specialized career growth. The career growth is also good, and it is very valuable in the regulatory part, and you'll get regulatory exposure also with the quality department. Okay, so the cons are documentation heavy. As in any compliance or documentation quality role, the documentation is heavy. As you must know that it is requiring you to maintain. People are hiring you to maintain documentation. So obviously documentation would be heavy. And limited patient interaction. The patient interaction would be low, but there might be patient interaction. You'll be there to collect the consent forms and everything. Okay, highly process driven. Okay, as the process moves, your works increase or decrease. Okay, who is it for? Detail oriented professionals who has low chance of making mistakes, compliance focused professionals, and those who enjoy structured work. Okay, so now we have covered everything in the clinical research. So let's now take questions of the clinical research. Let me put in the group if anyone has any questions related to clinical research. Hmm. Okay. So I guess there are no questions. Let me take water break and we'll be moving further then. There is questions from Merin. So what skills should I develop during my PharmD to prepare for a career in clinical research? Right now I'm an intern. Okay. So after I think what skills should you develop? So you should be clear with your concepts of clinical research because it is actively asked in the uh, interviews that how much do you know about their know about clinical research. They might not expect from a fresher to know everything, but they might expect you to know something about clinical research, and your concepts should be clear on clinical research. So I would recommend you do a free course of clinical research where you would actually learn. Okay, I do not support doing random courses, but if you want to get into clinical research, you should do clinical research introductory course, or there is always there clinical research is already included in our syllabus, so you can get into that also, you'll get everything. But if you want a certification on clinical research, now you should do a clinical research certification. That would, but if you are doing random certificates now, it will confuse the interviewer also, and it will set a mindset into them that you are also confused about your career, so that you have done a lot of certificates. So that's why I tell people to avoid doing random certifications. And right now, also I will not provide any certificate for this. It is not needed. The knowledge is enough. Okay. I hope, really hope that your doubt is clear. You're an intern right now, so it is not a problem. Okay. So, if there are no further questions in clinical research, we might move to medical writing. Okay. So, let's move to medical writing part. Hmm. Okay. No issues. So, in medical writing, there is there are multiple functions or types of medical writing there in a medical writing function. So there is educational content, publication, regulatory, and scientific writing. So we'll get into each one of them one by one and see what are these. Let me just put a message in the group so that everyone who is interested in medical writing can join. Okay. Hmm. So there are many functions in a medical writing department. Also there are educational content, publications, regulatory writing, and scientific writing. We'll get into each one of them one by one, see what roles are available and how you can develop it and what salary you can expect in it. Okay. So let's start with educational content. So here are two kind of roles you will see in the educational content, which is CME writer and medical education writer. CME is continuous medical education, which is also similar to medical education writer, but we'll see both of them. So medical education writer, it is the fresher salary is also good. It is 4 to 8 LPA, and core responsibilities would include you to write HCP educational content creation. HCP is healthcare professionals. Healthcare professionals can be pharmacists, nurses, and doctors, physicians, not consultants. Okay. Workshop materials like PPTs, presentations, posters, etc. Scientific presentations, training resources, and educational program support. Okay. A typical day would look like developing educational materials, preparing presentations, reviewing scientific evidence, and supporting learning activities. Okay. So these kind of things will be there. Let's see the pros and cons of it. Okay. So the pros are it requires strong communication skills. Let me just zoom into that. It requires strong communication skill development. It requires also strong communication, and it will give you the uh, chance to develop your communication skills also. So diverse content formats, you'll generate PPTs, brochures, flyers, and many more things, even videos. Physician focused work, you'll be directly delivering to physicians and healthcare professionals. What are the cons? Let's see. Cons are multiple stakeholder reviews, frequent content updates, and high expectations for clarity. In, as I said before, in any kind of content development, you'll have high revisions. There will be people who would want you to change things based on their expectations. Okay. Okay. So who is it for? It is for communicators, educators, and presentation focused professionals. So these kind of things can be done freelancing also. You can do freelancing for this, and you can develop like 30-page slide deck for a company, and you can charge around 15 to 30,000 for that one slide deck. If you are really good in presentation making, you should find these kind of opportunities. Definitely there are opportunities for freelancing. You should people are just waiting for you to approach them so that they can give you, because many companies overcharge for slide decks, and you can take advantage of that and make some side income. Okay. CME writer, fresher salaries 4 to 8 LPA. Core responsibilities include medical education content development, educational module preparation, case based learning creation, assessment development, learning material review. Okay. Okay. CME is for doctors only, so uh, it is for their training and educational purpose. The accuracy is not expected very high, but it is expected. Typical day is creating educational content, reviewing guidelines, developing learning activities, and updating educational resources. This can also be done in freelancing. Okay. So if you want to freelance this role, you can get paid really high, and you don't have to be working 9 to 5 for this also. You can do it at your time, but you'll have to deliver it in the specific deadline. So people who are interested in freelancing roles and already have a job, they can pursue this. This can give you a really good side income also. Let's see the pros and cons of it. What are the pros and cons? Pros is strong educational impact, broad therapeutic exposure, and variety of projects are can you can get. Cons are frequent revisions are there, educational accuracy requirements. As I said, educational accuracy are is required, but not pinpoint accuracy. Okay. Deadline driven projects. As I said before, you should be able to deliver it within a deadline, even if you are freelancing or doing a job somewhere. So who is it for? It is for educators, trainers, and individuals who enjoy simplifying science. Okay. So let's now, we have already done this. We have already done this, the medical educational content, and now we are getting into publications. As a PharmD, we have already done publication 1, 2, 3, and many people around 10 in their as they are student and in their interning days. So you can you already have experience in this field, and you have a lot of uh, exposure and already in research and publication development. So you will get priority hiring in this. Okay. So publication writer, manuscript development associate, these kind of things are there. Okay. Hmm. Publication writer, manuscript development associate are there. Let's see what are the opportunities there. Publication writer and manuscript development associate are the same thing. You'll just have to write publication and manuscript. Okay. Publication writer, 5 to 10 LPA. You can also do this as a job, or you can also freelance this. Many companies allow freelancing, and they hire people who already have experience. So if you want to get into publication, you just have to do 1 to 3 years of this, and then you can move into medical affairs, and then you can freelance this in your free time. Okay. Core responsibilities would include manuscript development, abstract preparation, poster writing, publication, planning support, and journal submission coordination. So these all things can be done on freelancing, and you can do it under a company also. Okay. So typical day would look like you have to write manuscripts, review literatures, and managing publication timelines. Because you, if it's not like that, if you are in a company, you will be given just one publication to do, and you will be doing it for months. You'll be given a lot of publications, like 5 to 6. You'll be writing this, and publication management you'll have to do for each and every, because in this also you'll have a deadline. Deadline will be not strict, but it will have a deadline. Coordinating author feedback. Okay. There are comments from the reviewers that you have to take care of. Pros are strong academic exposure, publication expertise, and high scientific credibility. These kind of things are that makes this job really good. And here are few cons. Extensive writing workload. You'll get a lot of projects in this, and you'll be overworked with writing. Long review processes, because in peer reviewed and good journals, the review process can last up to 6 to 12 months. And strict publication timelines are there. Okay. Who is it for? Research enthusiasts, academic minded professionals, and scientific communicators. So it is a good start for a PharmD. You can do this freelancing also. Okay. So now let's get into regulatory writing. Another part people get confused where medical writing and regulatory writing is. This is where the confusion gets cleared. Okay. It is different from medical writing. Regulatory medical writing, there are two opportunities here. Regulatory medical writer, submission writer. So you'll be dealing directly with regulatory bodies, not publications or anything. Okay. So regulatory writer is there. Fresher salary starts from 5 to 9 LPA. Core responsibilities would include regulatory document preparation, clinical study report support, and investigator brochure development. You must have heard it in your PharmD, that investigator brochure development. This is the work of a regulatory writer. Okay, submission document writing. This is not submissions to any journals. This is submissions to regulatory bodies, such as CDESCO. Okay, regulatory compliance support. The compliance should be there for the whole thing, for the whole study. It is, if it is going on like that. Typical day, a typical day would look like preparing regulatory documents, reviewing study data, ensuring compliance requirements, what are the requirements, and aligning them with our team, and coordinating with regulatory teams. So let's see the pros and cons of it. The pros are, it is a high value specialized skill and strong global demand. It has excellent long term career growth, and but it has complex guidelines. The guidelines of any regulatory body is very complex, and they would want you to uh, reach for your hair and pull your hair. Okay, so documentation intensive work is also there, because you, whenever there is a regulatory word, you have to understand that there will be a lot of documentation that you'll have to work with. Steep learning curve, you'll have to learn a lot in a very short period of time. Okay, who is it for? Detailed oriented professionals, individuals interested in regulations and structured thinkers. See, regulatory jobs in any field are very detail oriented, but they pay really well, and there are global opportunities that you'll get hired from global companies, and you'll be earning in dollars, dirhams, and etc. So if you see this career and you think that this is not a good career, you might be wrong. Okay, then there is scientific writing. Okay, most people talk about medical writing, they are talking about scientific writing exactly. So it is medical writer and scientific writer. So here are the, you can see the medical writer and scientific writer. Those two are different. Medical writer is directly hired by pharma companies and small contract companies, and scientific writer is hired by publication management manager or and nutraceutical companies, medical devices companies. That's why they call it scientific, not medical. Okay, so let's see medical writer, 3.5 to 7 lpa. The most most people opt for this role because it can provide you with remote opportunity, and it is very stable job, it has growth also. Okay, so core responsibilities would include literature review, scientific content development, medical documentation, document preparation, referencing and citation management, scientific accuracy checks, and data interpretation. The all kind of things that are there in a medical writing. Okay, so medical writers are hired when there is an project from, if you have done a survey, let's take an example of a survey. If you have done a survey of kind of drug in physicians, and what are their use, what are their clinical outcomes, and now you want to publish that data into a journal. So it would require a medical writer to interpret data and make the scientifically accurate manuscript and publish it online into really good journals. So typical day would look like reading journal articles, writing scientific content, reviewing references, revising documents, coordinating with reviewers. Okay, so let's see pros and cons. Pros are strong scientific learning, high demand across healthcare industries, and good remote work opportunities, as I said before, and transferable skills. This skill set can be transferred into medical affairs. Okay. Cons are there. Significant screen time. You'll have a lot of screen time and multiple revision cycles are there. Tight deadlines. The deadlines are very tight for this because the pharma company wants it to be published and use that publication as their evidence to promote their drug. That's why. Okay, who is it for? Individuals who enjoy writing, literature enthusiasts, detailed oriented professionals, and independent workers. Independent workers means freelancers. Okay, now let's see the scientific writer. So these are not actually hired. These are, they do not directly work with the pharma companies, but they work with their clients. Okay, so they work as their clients. So scientific article preparation, they prepare the article, and technical content creation, evidence preparation, interpretation, what are the evidence and how that evidence can help them promote their drug. Educational material development, educational material for doctors and MRs, medical representatives, which can be used by MSLs to train the MRs. Scientific communication support. Okay, so typical day of a scientific writer would look like reviewing scientific literature, developing educational resources, writing scientific summaries, and collaborating with subject matter experts. Okay, so pros and cons. Let's see: deep scientific exposure, broad therapeutic knowledge, development, and strong analytical skill growth. These kind of growths will be there. And cons are require continuous learning. You'll have to learn, and you'll have to read multiple articles, and high accuracy. High means no chance of error should be there. Okay, because this will be the face of the company. And extensive literature review. Who is it for? Science focused individuals, analytical thinkers, and professionals who enjoy research work. Okay, with this, now we have completed the medical writing part also. Oh, so if you have any questions related to medical writing, you can ask me directly. Hmm. Okay. Okay. So waiting for questions. If there are any questions, please write it down. Meanwhile, I'll have my water break. I have been live for 2 hours and I'm so tired. Cannot tell you guys. My neck is hurting. Crazy. Still, we have to cover a lot. I'll not give up. I'll cover everything. Then only I will close this stream of mine. Okay. So I am not seeing any questions on medical writing right now. There are any questions, please let me know. I'll take 5 minutes break right now. Let me share this thing so that can. Okay. So have not got any questions from medical writing. I think everybody is clear with medical writing. We can move further. Okay. Everybody is saying okay. Someone is celebrating. Okay. We'll move. We'll move. We'll move. No worries. No worries at all. We'll move to regulatory affairs now. It is the sixth most popular. It was, yes, it was sixth most popular in the survey. So let me just give the message covering regulatory affairs now. Okay. Okay. We'll be starting with regulatory affairs. Done. 104. Excellent. Okay. Okay. I was worried that people are not able to hear. Are you guys able to hear me at all? If yes, then say regulatory affairs or RA. Waiting for even one person to say RA. Okay, no worries. We'll move. We'll move. Hmm. We'll move. We'll move further. Okay. So let's start with the regulatory affairs now. Somebody said something and then I said, okay. Thank you so much. Shri Varshini. Okay. So I came to know that you have to create an account on this. You have to create your channel to chat. So it is easy. I guess it is just 1 to 2 clicks to create an account. Just have to write your name. You don't want to write your name, write anything else, and you'll have an account and you'll be able to chat. Because the whole point of the live stream is to that it should not end and it should be there in the video format, and everybody should be able to view it even after the live stream has ended, which is most people don't understand. Okay, so let's get into regulatory affairs. I did not think that it would be this tiring, but it is what it is. Okay, so regulatory submission is there, and regulatory submission is a part of it is a function of regulatory affairs, and documentation is there. Obviously, as I said before, whenever you hear regulatory, there will be heavy documentation, compliance. So these three words you'll have to remember. So let's start with compliance. So there is regulatory compliance associate, and in future, if you are there as a regulatory compliance associate, and you'll get promoted to regulatory compliance officer. Okay, sorry. Regulatory affairs associate is good, has good salary package and has a high hiring for PharmD. 3.5 to 7 LPA regulatory document. The core responsibilities would include regulatory documentation preparation, submission support, regulatory submission support, that is obviously, and regulatory intelligence tracking, product registration support, coordination with internal departments, and regulatory database maintenance. Okay, so the typical day of a regulatory affairs would look like You'll have to be you'll have to be reviewing regulatory requirements, preparing submissions documents to submit to regulatory bodies, and tracking application status. Also coordinating with different kind of teams to so that to obtain their regulatory documents. Then there are pros and cons. Pros are common entry point into regulatory affairs. If you want to get into regulatory affairs, which is very high paying in as you grow and has a very growth, has very really good growth, is a fast growing environment also. It is regulatory affairs associate is a common entry point. Okay, you'll have to have strong understanding of pharmaceutical regulations, stable career pathway, and global opportunities are also there. Okay. Cons are documentation heavy work, frequent regulatory updates to learn, because whenever you are a global regulatory associate, then you'll have to be learning each and every country's regulatory guidelines, and it gets updated very frequently, so you'll have to keep updating yourself also. Less direct clinical application is almost zero. You'll just be working with the regulatory part. Who is it for? Detailed oriented professionals and organized individuals, those interested in pharmaceutical regulations. Okay, so that's regulatory compliance associate for you. Now, for documentation, we have two documentations in regulatory affairs department, that is dossier or dossier jo bhi bolo. Dossier preparation, labeling associate and labeling associate. These two are different. Let's see first labeling associate. Labeling associate, the fresher salary is 4 to 8 LPA. Core responsibilities would include product labeling review and also designing and managing it. Package insert updates. You'll see whenever you open a cup syrup, there is a small leaflet that you can open, and that will be there. That is product insert, package insert. Safety information updates, if there is like prevent it from sunlight, avoid contact to eye, these kind of safety information. And regulatory labeling compliance, according to different kind of countries, the regulatory leaflets are different, because you'll have to comply with the government guidelines of the country. Artwork review support. Okay, you'll have to see how the artwork is, if it is compliant to regulatory bodies or not. Okay, typical day would look like reviewing labels, updating prescribing information, verifying regulatory requirements, coordinating labeling changes. Okay, the pros and cons is direct impact on patient safety. That's the pros. That's a benefit of this, because you'll be directly affecting the patient safety and will have specialized expertise. Okay, and growing global demand, the regulatory affair, this labeling associate has very growth in global and in India also. So cons are frequent regulatory changes and high accuracy expectations is maintained, and detailed review work should be there, because if anything is missed, the regulatory body will grab the neck of the finance of the pharmaceutical company, and pharmaceutical company will hold the regulatory labeling associate for this mistake, hold accountable for this mistake. Who is it for? Detailed focused professionals, individuals interested in product information. Okay, and quality conscious thinkers. So that's labeling associate for you. And now dossier preparation specialist is there. uh, Fresher salary is also 4 to 8 LPA. Core responsibilities is CTD or ECTD, clinical trial document dossier preparation, compliance of compilation of registration documents, submission, package review, data organization, regulatory document checks. Their and typical day would look like collecting data from departments, compiling registration dossiers, and reviewing document completeness, or supporting submissions. Pros and cons will be it has high value technical skill. It is a high value technical skill, essential regulatory function. It is a essential regulatory function. So there would be uh, hiring in this. Strong global applicability. The whole role is applicable to whole global, is applicable globally. And cons are highly documentation focused because it is a regulatory job. It has to be documentation focused. Repetitive compilation activities there. The thing is that it can get repetitive and non challenging. Okay, the things that you have to do would be same every day. Requires exceptional attention to detail, but you'll have to be making sure that even if you are doing same thing again and again, you'll have to have the eye of an eagle to make the to have that exceptional attention to detail. Who is it for? Detail oriented professionals, documentation specialist, and process driven professionals. So that's documentation regulatory affairs for you. Now moving on to registration and submission. And this is very important: regulatory affairs associate and regulatory executive. As we have seen earlier, the responsibilities would include the same thing. Sometimes in a pharma company, regulatory executive have to do the labeling work and dossier preparation and everything. If the if the man forces come, then you can do that. You will have to do that. 4 to 8 LPA is the fresher salary. Regulatory submission preparation, product product lifestyle management, and labeling support. Variation filing, because there should be variations into filing, because you'll have to be submitting into different kind of regulatory bodies of different kind of, you can say, globally. If you are submitting in globally, regulatory correspondence and compliance monitoring. uh, So typical day would look like preparation, regulatory dossiers, reviewing submission requirement. As I said before, that you might be required to prepare dossiers also, reviewing submission requirements, coordinating with authorities, managing product registration timelines. See the pros and cons. The pros are broader responsibility than associate roles, because as I said, you'll have to be working with labeling also, dossier also, submission also. So exposure to multiple regulatory processes and good career progression is there. Cons is strict submission timelines, high documentation workload, regulatory pressure during filings. Who is it for? Professionals who enjoy structured processes, individuals interested in compliance, and strong planners. Okay, so now we are done with regulatory affairs also. I will be taking questions on regulatory affairs now, if there are any questions. So let me just put it into the group. Okay. Hmm. 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 Not seeing any questions. It's okay. Hmm. Because most people are not actually interested in regulatory affairs. Okay. Hmm. Okay, I'm taking a small 5 minutes break again. Okay. Okay, so I see no questions. That means I move on to some to next topic. Hmm. So now we move on to this growing field of HEOR, which is health economics and real world evidence. RWE and HEOR. These two are very growing in the field, and there has been a lot of discussions around it. So I wanted to discuss it now also. So just give me a minute. Inform them quickly. If anyone want to join, then we can move on. Okay, good. Just a second. Okay, start. Okay. So now we are into health economics and real world. It is a growing field and it has been in the demand since last year. And there are few functions, three functions into this, which is health research, evidence generation, and outcome research. For PharmD, it is really growing field, and the demand is quite high right now. But some might require you to have some kind of internship already done in RWE or HEOR. But most of these companies directly hire, and the hiring market is really good for PharmD right now. So let's start with outcome research. So outcome research is HEOR associate has the this kind of job role, which is HEOR associate, which says health economics and health economics associate. 5 to the salary structure is 5 to 10 LPA, and core responsibilities would include having health economics evaluations, doing cost effectiveness analysis, support budget impact analysis, outcome research projects, literature reviews, health technology assessment support, evidence generation activities. And typical day would look like this: reviewing published literature, collecting healthcare cost data, supporting supporting economic models, preparing evidence summaries, analyzing treatment outcomes. So let me explain this in an layman's term. So to release a new drug, to make a new drug, the company should have a foundation of economics. That means the what kind of market is already out there, and what kind of outcome will this project give them, and how much sales they can do, and how the market will accept these kind of drugs in the and so this can be done evidence with evidence and evidence already published, that is published literature, seeing that and making an analysis that this kind of drugs have a good market. So your budget will have this kind of this lakhs and this crores of money, which will, you can invest and you can get this kind of outcome, which is probable. So that is outcome research basically, and that is you'll have to do as an HEOR associate. Means if you are a PharmD graduate and you have really good understanding of finances and everything, you also have good publication record, you can get into HEOR very easily if you understand the business aspect also. So the pros and cons are that it is a growing field globally and strong strategic value in pharma, because pharma companies will value people who save their money, okay, and put their money into good use. So that is the pros. And high scientific credibility combines clinical and business perspective. As I said, if you have clinical knowledge and business knowledge also, you can combine them and you can get higher jobs, higher paying jobs. So cons are smaller job market compared to medical affairs or PV. Compared to medical affairs or PV, obviously there is smaller job market because it has just come into light in 1 to 2 years, and this requires strong analytical skills. You'll have to be analytical, really analytical for this, because the whole company depends on your analytical skills. Significant data interpretation work. So who is it for analytical thinkers who can analyze their in their mind and think that this, if I do this then this will happen, then this can, we can benefit like this, like that. And research oriented professionals, individuals who are interested in healthcare system as a whole, and people who enjoy working with data and science along with clinical expertise. So that's outcome research for you and HEOR associate. Now we see evidence generation, real world evidence associate, that is RWE associate. The salary structure is also good, it is 5 to 10 LPA. Real world data analysis support, observational study support, patient registry projects, and evidence generation activities, data interpretation, literature review, research publication support. These all kind of things you'll have to do. Okay. Okay, so typical day would look like reviewing healthcare data sets, supporting observational studies, analyzing treatment outcomes, preparing evidence reports, assisting publication projects also. Okay, so the pros and cons, let's see. It is a rapidly growing field in pharma, HEOR and RWE both. Strong research exposure, high valuable future skill set, and high relevance for medical affairs and market access. See, before this job role came in, most of these kind of works were done by medical affairs professionals and market access professionals. So now they have different, they have grown into different field, and now it is a growing market, which is really good for PharmD. Cons are it is data heavy project. You'll have to work with a lot of data. If you love working with Excel and doing analysis of that, then you can definitely go for this. And smaller number of entry roles are smaller, but it is there, it is definitely there. Who is it for? Research enthusiasts, evidence focused professionals, individuals interested in clinical outcomes, and people who enjoy interpreting healthcare data. So that is evidence generation for you. And health research, epidemiology associate, you must have heard about epidemiology in your PharmD. And there is a job called epidemiology associate, where you help will have to uh, learn about the disease trend. The salary is also very good, 5 to 9 LPA. Disease trend analysis, population health research, what kind of disease are and where it is located regionally, locally, etc., and how it is growing. So population health research, study design support, based on your reports the study will be designed. So that's why it is study design support. And data interpretation, you'll have to interpret the data that you'll have to do in disease trend analysis, then that data will be interpreted and study will be designed based on that. Literature reviews there, public for getting disease trend analysis, you'll have to do a lot of literature review. That's why literature review is also a core responsibility. Public health research projects. So there are more few, a lot of camps you must have seen, around rural areas and even in urban areas for free, that they do, that is public health research projects also, that come, those kind of things comes under public health research projects, because they get to know how many people are suffering from which kind of disease. Epidemiological evidence generation. So based on that evidence, you will based on that data, you will generate an evidence that will have a solid evidence that these many people are suffering from these kind of diseases. So typical day would look like reviewing disease burden data, what is the burden of the disease in the population, supporting research studies, analyzing population level trends, and preparing research summaries, also conducting literature reviews. Pros and cons: strong scientific foundation and valuable research experience. Public health impact: you'll have a really good public health impact as you do free camps and everything. And broad healthcare applicability is there. Okay, cons are limited entry level roles, but there are it is an entry level role, but there are limited opportunities. Okay, heavy research focus and requires strong understanding of statistic and study design, because you will be mostly helping in designing the study and how the study should be conducted based on your epidemiological analysis. So who is it for? Research minded professionals who who are public health enthusiasts also, and individuals interested in disease trends and healthcare outcomes. Analytical thinkers also, who can analyze this and give these data to the public. So now we get into, now if you have any questions regarding health economics and real world evidence, you can ask. Then we'll move into health economics, and then we'll move into medical coding and documentation and healthcare documentation. Whew. Okay, I was not visible or what? Okay, so we'll be taking questions now for this. We just post it. Okay. Hmm. Guys, if you have any questions, please ask. I'll move further if you don't have any questions. Oh my god, I have been live for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Remarkable, remarkable. And I can do this, can complete this. We are in the sixth, I guess. We are in the seventh, but there are only three more. Then we'll be completing the whole thing. Huh. Okay, I do not see any questions coming, so I'll be moving further. Let me count to five. Okay, one, two, three, four, and five. Okay, no questions. So medical coding and healthcare documentation. So as you must have heard, it is also a really good field. Let me also put this in the group chat so that people who are interested can join. Now covering medical coding and healthcare documentation. Interested people can join now. Now. Okay. So as there were no questions regarding HEOR and RW, I have moved on to medical coding and healthcare documentation. See, we'll see what kind of jobs are there and how is the market for PharmD. So, so three kind of categories are there in this, which is coding, as in medical coding directly, and revenue cycle support, also documentation. Okay, so we'll directly get into medical coding. Medical coding and clinical documentation associate. These two are different, and we'll get into this. So medical coder is someone who does uh, ICD, PCT, HCPS codes for the company. I'll tell you that. Medical coding, fresher salary 2.5 to 5.5 LPA, review patient medical records. Okay, you'll have to do ICD entering, CPT entering, HCPCS means healthcare professional CS codes, and ensuring coding accuracy, verify documentation completeness, support healthcare reimbursement processes, and maintain coding compliances. A typical day might look like reviewing discharge summaries, reading physician notes, assigning diagnosis and procedure codes. Means a diagnosis will have a particular code and a procedure will have a particular code. Resolving coding discrepancies, if there are any discrepancies in the data, will have to be resolved. Updating coding records. Pros and cons: it has large number of openings, medical coding, and structured career path. International opportunities are also there. If you do an international certification course of 3 months from here in India, which is, and do an international coding course, you can do international coding course of US, Canada, London, sorry, UK, and Australia also. Then you will be able to work remotely for these kind of companies as a freelance also, and as an, not, I don't think freelance opportunities are available for medical coder, but there are job opportunities available, a large number. And cons are repetitive work, limited clinical decision making, there are almost no clinical decision making, and productivity targets can be demanding, because they'll be demanding you'll have to have do 100 ICD coding in a single day. So that those kind of deadlines are there. Who is it for? Detailed oriented professionals, individuals who enjoy structured work, people comfortable with guidelines and regulations, and those seeking a stable healthcare career. It also has good work life balance, so you can do this remotely. So next is clinical documentation associate. So fresher salary is 3 to 6 LPA, and you'll have to do reviewing clinical documentation, ensuring record completeness, identifying missing clinical information, supporting accurate documentation practices, collaborate with healthcare professionals, and improve documentation quality overall. So, typical day might look like reviewing patient records, checking documentation accuracy, communicating documentation gaps, supporting quality improvement initiatives, and maintaining documentation standards. So pros are strong exposure to clinical records, better clinical involvement than coding, and growing demand in healthcare organizations. So there is a really growing demand for clinical documentation specialist, and you can do it as a PharmD. Many roles are there. Valuable understanding of patient care documentation. So cons are there. Documentation intensive work is it is, because you'll just have to handle the documentation work, and requires attention to detail, no mistakes, chance of no mistakes. If you do mistakes, you will be held 100% accountable for it. Limited direct patient contact, almost no patient contact is there. Individuals interested in clinical documentation and detail oriented professionals, people who enjoy reviewing medical codes, and those interested in healthcare quality processes. Okay, now we have done the we have done this coding. Now we move to revenue cycle of an hospital or a pharma company or medical device company or a nutraceutical company, a whole revenue cycle. So clinical documentation specialist. So hired it has fresher salary of as good as medical affairs, 4 to 8 LPA. It has improving clinical documentation. It has core responsibilities as include improving clinical documentation quality, ensuring documentation supports clinical accuracy, conduct documentation audits, educate healthcare teams on documentation standards, support compliance requirements, monitor documentation improvement initiatives, and a typical day would look like reviewing complex patient records, identifying documentation gaps, and conducting audits, collaborating with clinicians, and developing documentation for improvement plans. Pros are Pros and cons are higher clinical involvement is there compared to other roles in this field, strong healthcare quality impact, and growing specialization. This is now a growing specialization you can get into and has higher opportunities for growth. Cons are extensive documentation, requires strong clinical knowledge, audit, and compliance. As you can say, you will be educating healthcare teams and documentation and teams on documentation standards. So you'll have to be on their level to educate that team. Okay. So who is it for? Clinically inclined professionals who want to work in clinically also and are not who does not want to work as a clinical pharmacist or quality department. So it is between quality and clinical. So clinically quality focused also, and it is clinically focused also. So strong analytical thinkers, professionals interested in healthcare improvement as a whole. So now we have seen revenue cycle support. Now we will purely get into documentation, which is medical coding auditor. Okay, the salary is high, 5 to 9 LPA, but it is not an entry level role. Basically, you will have to have a 1 year experience as a medical coder. So audit coded medical records, evaluate coding accuracy, ensure regulatory compliance, identify coding errors, provide feedback and corrective actions, support quality assurance programs. Also, typical day would look like reviewing completed coding cases and performing coding audits. Also preparing reports for that audits and conducting quality assessments and supporting compliance activities based on this. So next we'll be seeing the pros and cons of it. So pros are advancing coding career pathway and strong compliance expertise, high organizational importance, and better compensation than entry level coding. Okay, so it has cons as requires coding expertise. As I said, it requires medical coding 1 to 2 year experience. So you'll have to have medical coding expertise along with the certification course. Significantly responsibilities are very high in this, and audit related pressure is also there. Anytime the audit can come and your document should be correct. Who is it for? Experienced coders, detailed oriented professionals, compliance focused individuals, and people who enjoy quality assurance work. Simple. So now we have done the medical coding and healthcare documentation. If you have any questions, please ask. Otherwise, I will move on. Okay, okay. Hmm, 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 hmm. Okay. Are there any questions? Please ask. Otherwise, I'll drink some water. Okay, I have no water now. Okay, almost about to be 3 hours, and okay, we'll be moving on to next in five, four, three, two, and one. Okay, we'll be moving on. So medical coding and healthcare documentation done. Okay, just a second. Taking questions. There are any questions? Even after I move on, I'll answer that. So academic and research. I'll move on to this ninth, which is academic and research, which is basically research and academic, basically academic research and teaching as a lecturer and uh, teaching associate. So we'll see there are, you can see there are three functions also: teaching, research, and academic projects. We'll definitely move on to teaching first and see there are lecturer and assistant professors, which professor, which are basically the same thing. You'll be working in an university, and it has good payment for entry level roles, but the growth is not that good. That's what the people have reported. So fresher salary is, we need to, okay, for a fresher job, what is the question? Okay, do we need to learn data analytic tool for CDM for a fresher job? Yes, you'll have to learn that for a fresher job as a CDM. You'll have to do some kind of certification course, because in PharmD, CDM is not directly taught, and people expect an interviewer or higher tools will expect you to do some kind of course in from Coursera, Udemy, or anything. Just some certification which is required. Which tools? Learn data. See, whenever you do a course which has hands-on practice for CDM, they'll provide you with projects. Those kind of projects you'll have to do, and you'll have to use their tools. Tools can be different. The CDM course which I have done from Coursera had the RedCap name tool for analysis and data analysis, and for the project they have given me the access to that, and I have done that. I have used that and I have done that. So if you want to go for any kind of course, then you should go for CDM course if you want to get into CDM. Okay. Okay, CDM question was done. uh, Akash Sharma, thank you Akash Sharma ji. We'll move on. If you want to know what kind of courses you should do, you can message me on LinkedIn. I'll give you a number of credible courses which has project in it, and give you hands on practice. Okay, do message me on LinkedIn, I'll answer you. So we moving further, we were here. So, core responsibilities will be teaching undergraduate and postgraduate students, research supervision, as we have seen what our teachers were doing in the college, in curriculum development, publication of research work, academic administration, student mentoring. A typical day would look like you will conduct lectures, supervising research projects, reviewing academic work, publishing scientific articles. Now, this new thing has come up into the field of academics, then that every teacher should have these number of a particular number of scientific articles in their name, participating in institutional activities. Okay, the pros and cons: it has academic recognition. Research opportunities are there. You'll participate in the research of the students, which our students are doing, and leadership potential is there. You will get into principal or dean on everything like that. PhD after doing PhD and those things. Cons are publication pressure, because nowadays a lot of deans and universities are putting publication pressure on teachers, so they have to do publication anyhow. Administrative workload is there, but it is not much. Promotion may depend on research output. See, as I told, publication pressure is high and the promotion is based on that only. So uh, it is sad, but if you see the upper side of it, you will get go to college by 8 a.m. and you will return by 3 or 3:30 p.m. You'll have the whole day to you. It is not 9 to 5, but it is it has less stress compared to pharma jobs. Who is it for? Academically driven professional, researchers, educators, individuals interested in long term academic careers. Okay, so that is the job for lecturer, assistant professor, professors. Now research. Research is different from clinical research. This is a research that we as a PharmD student has done, and our guides have guided, our teachers have, lecturers, professors have guided us. So these kind of research involvements are there. So research associate and clinical research scientist. See, in academic research are different and clinical research are different things. Okay, so the fresher salary for this kind of research associate jobs, you can look for uh, AIMS institution and institutions like AIMS, which hire these kind of professionals who have a good background in research. So it is 3.5 to 8 LPA. Literature review, data collection and analysis, study coordination, manuscript preparation, research documentation, and support funded research projects. For example, SSIP is there. Okay. A typical day might look like reviewing literature data and literature, collecting study data, analyzing research findings, preparing reports, supporting publication activities. Pros and cons. Strong research exposure is there, publication opportunities are almost there, development of analytical skills, and gateway to advanced research careers. Further, you can uh, dive into clinical research also after this. You can convert into. Then, for cons, project based employed in some organization, which means contract based. If the project is there, you are employed. If the project is gone, you are unemployed, like that. And funding dependent positions. If the funding, government is funding, some institution is funding, then you'll have a good position and good salary. Otherwise, less salary and less that in the same position. Significant documentation workload is there. Who is it for? Research enthusiasts, analytical thinkers, individuals interested in scientific discovery, and people who enjoy evidence generation. Okay, so now clinical research scientist, this is the thing which I was talking about. After research associate, you can get into clinical research scientist, which is similar to our pharma clinical research. Okay, so it has higher salary, and it requires 5 to 8, has 5 to 12 LPA starting. And core responsibilities would include designing research studies, developing study protocols, analyzing clinical data, generating generating scientific evidence, publishing research finding, and supporting translational research activities. Okay, typical day might look like designing research projects, reviewing study protocol, study outcomes, interpreting data, writing scientific reports, collaborating with multidisciplinary teams. And pros and cons are high scientific involvement, strong publication potential, significant contribution to evidence generation, and excellent foundation for advanced research careers. You can get into advanced researchers further after this. Cons are it is highly competitive field. You might have to give some exams to get into this, and research timelines can be lengthy, can get into 10 years, 6 years, and those kind of things. Because clinical trials go on for years and years, then gets the outcome that they expected. Requires strong analytical skills, which is just a skill based thing. So, who is it? Scientific thinkers, research focused professionals, individuals interested in innovation, discovering new things. Okay, people who enjoy solving complex scientific problems. Hmm. Okay, so now we move on to academic projects, which is research coordinator, which is a person who coordinates the research of an academic, of an institution or an academic institution. Salary is 3 to 7 LPA. Coordinate research projects, manage study timelines, ensure regulatory compliance, support investigator activities, maintain research documentation, and coordinate research teams. It has typical day as managing project activities, coordinating investigators, maintaining study records, tracking project milestones, supporting ethics and ethics submissions. Okay, pros and cons are strong project management exposure, broad research experience, valuable organizational skill development, and exposure to multiple studies. Cons are it has heavy documentation responsibilities, heavy coordination responsibilities, documentation intensive work, and multiple stakeholder management. There can be multiple stakeholders who are into clinical research, and you'll have to answer each one of them. Who is it for? Organized professionals, multitaskers, and individuals interested in research operations. People who enjoy project coordination and everything. So now, as this is done, I may take more questions if you have any. Otherwise, I'll move to the last and final part of the career, which is emerging markets. Okay, let me post this one. Taking questions on mic mix and research. Okay, I see there are no questions that we can move further. Okay, so 3 hours are completed. Whew. It was this tough, tough, very tough. So we'll move in 2 minutes. We have some break. No, let's finish this, then I'll have a lot of break. Okay, if you have any questions, please ask right now for this academics and research. I see no questions. This is good. That means people are getting everything. That means I am explaining everything really good. I really hope that's the case. Okay, so we move further. Move further. Okay, Sharma ji has more questions. More question. So can we switch career from pharmacovigilance to clinical research? Carriers from pharmacovigilance to clinical research. There are no. Or will I be considered a fresher again? Depends on what role you are applying for. If you are applying for, there are many roles that are aligned with pharmacovigilance also, that is safety associates in clinical research, which your roles directly aligns to, and coordinators, clinical research coordinators, and associates, you will be considered, you can be considered if you have a considerable uh, amount of experience in pharmacovigilance, like 2 years 3 years, then you can be considered directly for a clinical research associate role, even if you do not have any experience in clinical research. Definitely they'll give you the training for 6 months, and then you'll be ready to go. Okay, hope I have answered your question, Sharmaji. Okay, now we move. Okay, now we moving to final, the 10th and final opportunity opportunities, that is emerging digital health roles, which is definitely, as you can expect, it definitely has some AI in it. Okay, so we'll see different kind of opportunities here. Let me first remind everyone. Emerging digital health roles. Last topic for today. Okay. So, emerging digital health roles. Now we see there are different functions, means different paths you can go into this field, which is health technology, AI and healthcare, and digital health. Okay, so we'll start with health technology, which has two roles in there, which is clinical informatics associate and healthcare data associate. Not clinical, but healthcare data. We'll see first clinical informatics associate. In clinical informatic associates, fresher salary is good, 4 to 8 LPA, and it has remote work opportunities also. It suppose you have to support electronic health records, which is EHR systems in the hospitals, and you'll have to have uh, analyze clinical workflows in the hospitals, improve healthcare information systems in the hospital, assist in healthcare technology implementation, bridge communication gap between clinicians and IT teams. Also support clinical data management teams so that this EHR can be implemented into the workflow of the hospital very smoothly. Okay, a typical day might look like reviewing healthcare workflows, testing healthcare softwares, supporting EHR optimization, collaborating with clinicians and technical teams, analyzing system performance also. Okay, so let's see pros and cons. Pros are, it is a growing demand globally, combines healthcare and technology, diverse career opportunities, and strong future relevance. Okay. Cons are, requires technology adaptation, less direct patient interaction, and continuous learning required. As technology is improving, you'll have to improve with the technology. Okay, individuals interested in health tech or healthcare technology, analytical thinkers, problem solvers, professionals who enjoy system improvements. Okay, and now healthcare data associate. For healthcare data associate, salary is very high, 4 to 8 LPA, and what they have to do is analyze healthcare data sets. The data sets generated by the EHRs are to be analyzed by healthcare data associates and generate healthcare insights for doctors and for owners of the hospitals, so where they have to improve and where they have to put much work into. Support healthcare analytic projects, data cleaning and validation, prepare analytical reports, monitor healthcare performance metrics, and review healthcare data. Review a typical day might look like reviewing healthcare data, creating reports and data and dashboards, identifying trends and patterns, supporting business and clinical decisions. Also working with large data sets. Okay, what are the pros and cons? Let's see. The pros are it is a high demand skill set, it has strong future growth potential, data driven decision making is there, and opportunities across various healthcare sectors. Okay, so significant screen time, the screen time might improve because you'll have to work with data, and you have to work with data, so it is a data heavy work and analytical thinking should be there. Who is it for? Oriented professionals, analytical thinkers, individuals interested in healthcare trends, and people comfortable working with numbers. Not me. AI in healthcare, AI and okay, so there are medical AI trainers. AI trainers I have seen and I have given interviews and I have been doing freelancing in medical AI training courses from projects from Ellinger, Mercor, and there was one more I forgot. Outlier, yes. So these three people are hiring for medical AI training, which is freelance opportunity. You can work 2 3 days, 2 3 hours per day, and earn good amount. Okay, and clinical knowledge specialist is also an opportunity. Let's first see medical AI trainer. The salary, if you are working as a job, then you can have salary of 5 to 12 lpa, and core responsibilities would include training AI models using medical knowledge, reviewing AI generated healthcare content, validate clinical accuracy, and create training data sets. Okay, for the AI, improve healthcare AI performance, and support AI quality assurance. Okay, also, for typical day might look like reviewing AI outputs, evaluating clinical accuracy, annotating medical content, and collaborating with AI development teams. Also, identifying if there are any model errors for AI. The pros are rapid growing field, early mover advantage. If you move early, you will have more advantage because you'll earn early, you'll learn and earn early. Combines healthcare and artificial intelligence exposure to cutting edge technology. Okay, you'll be able to understand and you'll be exposed to new technologies that is not even in the market. Okay, cons are emerging career pathway with evolving job descriptions. The job always evolving and requires adaptation to new technology. You should be able to understand AI and how AI works around the medical field. Long term role valuation remains uncertain because uh, the future of AI is also uncertain, and future of along with future of AI, if you are working with AI, your future will also be uncertain. But if you want to do it with freelancing, you can do definitely do it. Is very beneficial for you. Who is it for? Technology enthusiasts, early adopters, individuals interested in AI applications, professionals comfortable learning new systems, to clinical associate specialist. So with this, you will not be directly AI, but you will have involvement in the data sets. So the salary structure is also really good. It is 5 to 10 and knowledge develop clinical knowledge data sets, create evidence based knowledge resources, support clinical decision support tools, review medical literature, and maintain healthcare content repositories. Okay, and you also have to ensure that everything that you prepare is scientifically accurate. You'll have the day in day to day, you will be doing reviewing literature, updating clinical knowledge systems, and supporting decision support platforms, validating medical content, collaborating with healthcare and technology teams. Okay, pros are strong scientific involvement, growing role in digital healthcare, opportunity in influence and clinical decision making tools, broad therapeutic exposure. And cons are significant content review work. You'll have to review a lot of content again and again to improve the data sets, and less direct patient interaction. Almost no patient interaction is there. You'll be interacting with the systems. Requires continuous updating of knowledge. So, who is it for? It is for literature enthusiasts, medical affairs oriented professionals. You can get into medical affairs through this also. Detailed oriented individuals and people who enjoy knowledge management. Okay. So now we move to digital health. So we see that uh, it is job role is there, digital health associate, the name. The fresher salary is 4 to 9 LPA, very good. And support, you will have to support digital health programs, assist telemedicine initiatives, managing digital health, digital patient engagement projects, support healthcare app development, and monitor digital health outcomes along with coordinating with digital healthcare solutions. Okay. A typical day might look like supporting digital health projects, reviewing patient engagement data, coordinating with technology teams, evaluating digital healthcare initiatives, and monitoring project outcomes. Pros: rapidly growing, it is a rapidly growing sector, diverse career opportunities, and exposure to healthcare innovation means innovative healthcare opportunities you'll get, and cross functional work environment you'll also get. Cons are role definitions vary significantly between companies. One company would want you to work with some teams, and one company would want you to work independently. Continuous adaptation is also required. So who is it for? It is for innovation focused professionals, technology enthusiasts, means who are uh, interested in medtech and health tech, individuals interested in healthcare transformation, and people comfortable working in evolving environments. So with this we have completed, almost completed everything. As you can see, it is very big. So this is the thing that I have developed for you guys. I would want you to take best of it and make best of it. So I'll now be taking questions. Okay. So everything is completed. Okay, sure. Is back. Do we need to learn machine learning for entry level jobs in medical AI trainer? No, you don't have to learn machine learning. Don't have to have any knowledge of. So I'll suggest you visit Allinger, you visit Mercor, Outlier, you give their English proficiency test, you give their clinical expertise test, and then you'll be exposed to projects that are ongoing, and then you can apply to them, and you'll be earning on hourly basis, like $15 per hour, $10 per hour, and you just have to chat with the AI or view what the AI has to say for the prompts, or how it is, if it is scientifically or medically accurate or not. Okay, you get anything I said? If you got anything, I everything I said right now, Sharma G, then you should the thumbs up in the chat box. Okay, so everything is completed now, and I hope you all, anyone who has joined and will be joining in the future after this is uploaded, hope you have enjoyed everything. And I'll be ending the live stream in 5 minutes, waiting if anyone wants to ask more questions. Okay, so I'll just be waiting here, sitting and waiting. Okay, so thank you. Okay, so I'm live till, I guess, 2:50. I'll be live till 2:50, then I'll be ending the live stream. And I really hope everyone has enjoyed this and you got something out of this. If you have got something out of this, then you should uh, like this and subscribe this. This is not the whole point. Okay, so I want to show you guys something really funny. Okay, I'll keep this on. Okay. Hmm. I'll keep this on. I'll show you guys something funny. Oh, okay, I'll stop presenting this now and I'll present you something. Hmm. Okay. So as you can see, there are 106 responses in this, and 68 of 69 people have said that they have subscribed to me, and 37% have said, 37 people have said that they have not subscribed, which I respect that they were honest. But these guys, 69 people, and let me show you how many actual subscriptions I have. Okay. So out of these 69 people who have said yes that they have subscribed to me, only 63 of them have subscribed to me, and rest all are just liars. Okay, no issues. So I think Samaji has asked some questions. Hmm. Okay. Let me present that thing again. Hmm. So question is, what would be the best option among these according to you if I want an analytical role, solving problems and less interaction with new people and non interactive? So if you depends, there are multiple analytical roles in. See, there are analytical roles in hospitals, medical affairs, pharmacovigilance, clinical research, regulatory affairs, and also in HEOR, also medical, in then this AI. So if you want to work with AI and everything, I would suggest if you can go for this role. Okay, sorry. So you can go for healthcare data associate or medical AI trainer. If you want to, Sharmaji, want to work with AI, you can get into that also. AI has seen new messages. Thank you so much for wonderful session and for patiently addressing our questions regarding PharmD career opportunities. Your insights were truly valuable and inspiring. Wishing you all the very best for your future endeavors and continued success. Thank you once again. I thank you for attending this and thanking me. I thank you for thanking me. That's how I do comedy. Okay. I thank you so much actually for attending these, and I hope, really hope that you would be able to understand the whole session, whole career better. Now after this, I'll be uploading this on LinkedIn, not the video but the mind map that I have created, and I hope it will help more people. Thank you again. Okay, it is 52. I was supposed to end it by 2:50. I'll take more questions because there are more people here now. If there are any questions, you can ask. Ending live stream. Thank you, sir. Welcome, Sharma ji. Patiently waiting for people to join and do their deeds. You can see this is very vague. It, it has cost me my mental peace to prepare this. It was fun. It was some good new knowledge for me to gain, and I really hope, really actually hope that this will buzz out the confusion that is there in the minds of PharmD, so that more and more people will be able to understand the roles and what are the opportunities available for them in the market, and don't want people to get stuck in the same loop again and again. They will take informed decisions now. All right. All right. Let's move further. Further is the end. How do you career gaps during interview? Career gaps means, what do you mean by career gaps? Career gaps means like uh, not worked for a while, and is that what you are asking? Like a career break or something? If that is your question, now the interviewer asks that why there is a gap in your resume, and why, what is the reason for this gap. So never, I repeat, never say that you are doing some kind of course during that time, because most of, because everybody knows that how courses are done and how responsibly these are taken. Okay, So never say that you were doing some course. Actually, if you had any financial problems, you can express that. If you had any family problems, you can expect you can say that. But best thing you can do is you can avoid any questions by saying that I had some private problems in my life that I had to address, and for that I had to take these career breaks. So whenever you say something is private, interviewer might not ask you much about it and would not dig deep into it. Okay, this helps. Siraj, was I able to address your question? Oh, welcome, welcome. Mhm. So I'm actually live till 3 p.m. So I still have 3 minutes to be live and answer questions. Actually, okay. Oh, so thank you so much for being here. I'll be moving, ending the live stream now. Everybody join. Thank you so much. Oh, it was a tiring day for me too. Okay. See you guys on the next one. I'll be delivering the. Thank you so much. See you guys on the next one. Bye bye.